So, good evening, folks. We're just sorting out our sound here now at the moment. First of all, thank you all so much for joining what we've been told is the most hotly anticipated moment of the calendar year, is what I've seen on a few places on Twitter. And we're not so sure about that. We're here basically just to give a message. We're here basically to finally unveil the plan as to what we have. And we hope that you're all going to sit, listen through the whole thing, and then make up your own mind that it hasn't been edited, deleted, changed, or twisted at all. Before that, we've got a couple of videos here that I just want to show you, just to give you an idea of what people are going through now at the moment from a wide sector, because there's a few things we want to achieve today, and one of them, without a shadow of a doubt, is to unite all of hospitality together as one voice. So take a little look at this, and we'll be back in a second.
Hi, I'm Brian from Shake Dog in Crescent Shopping Centre in Limerick. We are an American diner and have traded here for 19 years. So next week, the entire shopping centre will be open. As we are not a takeaway or have an outdoor area, we will remain closed. Our Taoiseach has mentioned late July for opening, but I'm worried this extra 2.5 months will break us, as we are going to miss the majority of the summer, the best part of the year for us. Our rent rates and service charges alone are $5,000 per week. Other bills come to $3,000 per week, and despite the $2,000 we receive from the government, we will have accrued a massive debt by the time we open. I'm also concerned the sports will be withdrawn by the time we open, as the countdown timer on these will start once the hotels start trading on June the 2nd. So far, we have retained the majority of our staff, but as the uncertainty continues, this may change. Opening with new staff would just be beyond us. This business is very important to the many people involved. It's a unique and challenging environment, and most of the staff are here years and love it, as do I.
Hi there, my name is Deirdre Devitt, and this is what an empty bar looks like. This is the Two Sisters pub. And let me tell you maybe in 30 seconds about the 30 staff that worked here. In the past year, 90% of our staff have only worked 3 months out of 14. What we're faced with now is the prospect of hotels opening on the 2nd of June, indoors to serve customers, clients, guests, dinners, drinks, whereas pubs and restaurants will be opening on the 7th of June for outdoors. The prospects aren't good. It's been a very tough time for everybody. Our staff have gone through an awful lot. They've already been pressurised to change career, to try and earn a living, to support their families. This is just going to create a divide. It's not the right approach. It's pitting various different layers and levels of hospitality against each other for staff. People have a right to work, and we have a right to operate responsibly, as we've done so for generations, as we did last summer, indoor and outdoor. And it's my view that hospitality should all open together, and that is on the 2nd of June. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is John Paul. I am the owner of Times Square Burger in Kenmare. This is the outside space outside my restaurant on a very dark and dreary day in the middle of May. As you can see, I've got room for maybe a table for two. I've been trying to keep the place alive and trying to keep it open by doing takeaway as much as I could. But the back here in my restaurant, which is just 14 seats and all nicely spaced, is basically redundant to the point where I've lost so many customers and so much revenue. The most frustrating thing is we have no date, we have no data, we have nobody telling us when we're allowed to open again. For indoor and outdoor. Hotels are opening on the 2nd of June. They're going to take all the staff. There's nobody here looking for work at the moment in Kenmare. It's a small town of 4,000 people. And I really worry that when we do get the data and we do get some sort of permission, thank you very much, that we'll be allowed to go and look for staff. There won't be any here. It's literally just going to be me. And I honestly don't know how I'm going to do that. We need answers, and we need to open on the 2nd of June in line with hotels. We need to be given a fair fight and a fair shot at recruitment and getting people through the doors. Very simple.
Here we are outside in the brew house in Kenmare, another typical example. And as you can see, lashing rain. So the outdoor narrative, as we've always said, is simply crazy and insane. We're walking into a very large space here, and you cannot tell me that a bar and a restaurant of this size, or even of a small size, operating at a reduced capacity for indoor dining is not safe. This is a classic example of the barriers between all the different seats and booths, and look, the grim reality of an industry that has been decimated for the last 14 months. Our Christmas decorations still up. There's bars and restaurants like this all around the country, even smaller ones that offer limited seating can still operate at a reduced capacity in a safe environment. But this is one example of such a large premises. You cannot tell me that this place and this business cannot open at a slightly reduced capacity in indoor dining and not operate safely.
Hi, I'm Pat Crotty and this is Paris, Texas on the High Street in Kilkenny. We have lots of features to help to keep everybody safe. Windows that open wide for ventilation, doors that open fully for even more ventilation, and very high ceilings too. We have also invested in safety, digital contact tracing, extra staff cleaning all shared surfaces all the time, timber screens between tables, eco-cool virus-killing air filters throughout the building. We can serve people as safely as any hotel, but we won't be allowed. We are empty and closed until some as yet unknown date. We appreciate our government supports. We were bleeding and the CRSS and EWSS have slowed it, but they haven't stopped it. Our full-time staff have bled too, managing on a fraction of their normal income through no fault of their own for over a full year, keeping us closed when others open to provide the very same food and drink service, in the very same way, and in the very same or maybe less safe settings, will cause us to bleed further in both customers and staff. It will make a bad situation unnecessarily worse and cause more closures, nor is it supported by any of the science or metrics that we have been asked to trust for the last 6 months of lockdown.
I'm Niamh Begley of Begley's Bar, Killow in Longford. I'm 7th generation Begley in business in the parish and 23 years at the bar trade. I closed my bar voluntarily on March 15th, 2020 for the good of my family and the wider community. It's devastating to see what the government are doing to divide our industry yet again by allowing hotels to resume indoor service on June 2nd. The bars have been absolutely decimated. Our livelihoods are on the line and we're both mentally and financially at breaking point. Now is the time for this government to trust us to do what we do best and what we've done for generations. We are safe, controlled, regulated, licensed and fully COVID compliant. Our message is clear. Reopen all of hospitality, together and indoors.
So that's just a small sample of the amount of videos that we got from bars, restaurants, sandwich bars, cafes from around the country. We could have shown hours of that. Trust me, there was a huge amount. I'm joined today, by the way, guys, by Niall Botti O'Callaghan, who a lot of people in Killarney will know, and John C. O'Shea is the maestro behind the cameras. I couldn't have done this without the two guys, and so much more support from a lot of other people. We're looking at all the comments coming through. By the way, we've got the cameras, but I'm also old-fashioned and checking on my phone and all the cameras, all the comments that are coming in. There's a couple of things that we want to address. I'd appreciate if everybody sticks with us for the duration of it so they can hear exactly what we're saying. If anybody can go on and share this link onto Twitter as well with the hashtag the plan, because that's part of the plan, is to get it trending so that more and more people, I want somebody looking at Twitter going, what the hell is the plan? And they see exactly what we're doing. So if you can, share this straight away on all your social media platforms, on Facebook, but when it's on Twitter, make sure you put in hashtag the plan. The first part of the plan that we want to address is that there is, and I don't want to get too technical about it, but we're going to read out a letter. So it's an extension to Part 3 of the Health Act. Let's just keep it very simple, for a Health Act, which basically in layman's term means is up for renewal and to be voted by all the TDs in this country on or before the 9th of June. So they're looking between the 9th and the 6th of June. What this basically means is it takes away your right really for choice, and it also gives the right to the government to be able to say, we're going to close this bar and leave that bar open. And so we need to really campaign all our TDs, because it's never been done before. And I've done up a sample of a letter which is now going to be posted up. You'll see the links, and it's going to, so all you have to do is copy this link, print it out and sign it off to all the TDs in your jurisdiction. So let me just read it out first of all so everybody gets a full understanding. So we put down the insert one of your TDs, and I'm, for argument's sakes, just because there's a couple of people out there who know him, I put down for Michael Healy-Rae. So I put down his name, his address, and I'm saying, Dear Michael, I'm writing concerning the upcoming vote seeking to extend the duration of Part 3 of the Act, which is due to take place on or before the 9th of June 2021. I wish to express my grave concern at the going devastation impact of the severe restrictions relating to COVID-19, in particular with regards to the hospitality sector. What we're trying to show here is that we're trying to say, for the following reasons, this is why the hospitality industry is going to be absolutely decimated under the current plan of the government, which is pretty much zero as we speak. We've been given hotels to open up on the 2nd of June. We've been given outdoor dining, which we're going to get to. There's no point even discussing outdoor dining on the 7th of June. As of today, as of right now, we have no idea when restaurants, bars, cafes, sandwich shops can open up and serve indoors. None. There is no plan whatsoever. So just listen to the points that we're trying to raise, because I want you to understand the frustration and what this is going to result in our opinion, as a catastrophic economic disaster down the line. Whilst we very much welcome the reopening of certain sectors within the tourism and hospitality industry, allowing some to reopen before others is going to cause detrimental and catastrophic consequences going forward for our industry. Allowing hotels to operate, and don't get me wrong, we're delighted hotels can open up, it's fantastic. Allowing hotels to operate and facilitate indoor dining and drinking well before restaurants and bars will result in the hotel sector gaining a very unfair advantage to recruitment of an already decimated workforce, and will result in a next to impossible scenario for restaurants and bars to recruit this summer. Basically what we're saying is that we can see it now. Any bar, restaurant or cafe or anything at the moment knows that they have lost most of their staff already to hotels, because even though they want to stay working with us, we can't give them a day as to when they can start. So we're losing all our staff to the hotels as to how this government is operating their opening plan. It's already very evident that most bars and restaurants have lost most of their staff. The traditional summer college employees are also seriously under threat. College students have a very limited time frame over the summer months to earn enough money to support themselves for rental and other expenses that they incur throughout the college year in September. Not allowing them to work in bars and restaurants come June the 2nd will result in all this personnel power disappearing, and we simply cannot allow this to happen. With no start date for bars and restaurants and cafes to reopen, yet an imminent announcement for the Irish people to be able to travel abroad, the domestic tour season will be decimated. Simply put, I'm looking to plan a holiday now. I want to support Irish, I want to support local, but I don't know if I can have a pint in a bar, and I don't know if I can have something to eat in a restaurant. So I'm just going to book Spain or Portugal, because I can go over there from July onwards, is what we're hearing. It just means that we're not going to have the season that they're portraying that we are. It's just not going to happen. We're going to go, but we might organise a weekend break in the winter, but we're not going to have that summer season that we desperately need to get through this winter. In the past 16 months, restaurants have been open for about 4 of those, while most bars have not been opened at all. All cash reserves are simply gone now for most small business owners. Having a non-runner of a season ahead this year will result in colossal closures. We cannot allow this to happen. We finished last September, end of the start of October of our season. We haven't traded in 9 months. We had no Christmas season. We've had no shoulder seasons. We're looking like having a decimated summer season this year. We will not get through the winter season to be here for next year. We have been told to follow the science at all times. Leo Varadkar has now openly stated in the Shannon that there is absolutely no scientific evidence stating that it is more dangerous to eat in a restaurant or bar than it is in a hotel. I want to say that again. There's absolutely no scientific proof at all to say you are safer in a hotel than eating in a restaurant or having a pint in a bar. Zero. None. Therefore, we must simply all open up on the same date as hotels and guest houses in the interest of fairness. Being given the reason that hotels have always fed their residents since day one is an insult to our intelligence. As what do you think restaurants and bars have been doing since day one? We've been doing the exact same. We spent last year adhering to all government guidelines and traded safely. This season we will do the exact same. I know you can see the letter is now coming up on the screen, and you'll be able to copy and post that as well. With the added bonus of this year that the majority of our vulnerable, and I hate saying this, I hate separating and segregating people of this country, but the majority of our vulnerable and our most elderly are already vaccinated. And an accelerated vaccine rollout for around 250,000 people receiving the jab per week. I put down about a month ago that I had huge faith in the HSE and the frontline people that we have, and they are doing an absolutely incredible, amazing job. Now that they have the supply, we are now doing 250,000 a week, and that is going to grow. Hospital numbers and ICU admissions are plummeting. We cannot allow us to get to the end of June to say that now it's okay, for the reasons that I've already mentioned, that we won't have staff, we're going to lose out our bookings, and we won't have the domestic tourist. We can't allow this to happen and then say, right, off you go. It's too late at that stage. The money that will be wasted in revenue takings for both June, the summer season, but also the winter season, once so many businesses close, is going to cause a huge strain on the already exhausted social welfare system. I'm stating the obvious, guys. I'm stating everything that people know already. But this is what we have to do to send this to every single TD in the country from every member of your family. They're going to get inundated with all these letters saying, we're not accepting this anymore. So many of our foreign workforce, and don't be getting upset when I'm saying this is just a fact, I'm stating what's happening. So many of our foreign workforce have returned home months ago. In a lot of their countries, the average monthly salary is little compared to what ours is. Some of it is as low as €400 per month. €400 per month. But because of our social welfare system, much of this workforce are already gone home to their own countries, and they're collecting the PUP of €350 a week. So we just do the maths. And they're fully entitled to do that, by the way, but this is what is happening. So a lot now are also working back at home. So most of this workforce simply won't return. Why should you? If you're getting the $350 a week PUP, and you're also working back home in your country, where your average monthly salary is between maybe €400-600 in some of these countries, why would you come back? And when this PUP is reduced to social welfare, to unemployment, they're still going to be getting €200 a week. And that's why the workforce is not going to be returning. Don't worry, I'm getting there. We're nearly there. But again, I can't reiterate enough that this is the reason the government have to understand the actions and the consequences of their actions as to what they're doing. We've been told to follow public health advice. But I'm going to be controversial here now when I say this. Yet all public health advice has not always been correct. For the simple reason, one example, last year we were told that a €9 chicken nugget would prevent you from catching COVID, and it caused a division within the hospitality sector which simply cannot happen again. You cannot tell me that COVID knows if you're eating food or not. That's not how this works. And again, I can't stress enough, there is absolutely no scientific proof that this is a fact. So John and his bar should not be punished, or any publican throughout the entire country should not be punished because they can't do that. And how do we know we're right? Well, they've swapped that now. It's gone. They didn't apologise, they didn't offer an ounce of compensation, and they didn't admit that they were wrong. Last year that has caused untold heartache and closed so many businesses already. And they're now looking to replace the €9 chicken nugget with €100 stay the night in a hotel, because COVID apparently knows if you're staying the night. It just defies logic, and this has to be answered by our government. NPHET are going to try and argue my logic, and they're going to advise that I'm creating a scenario where COVID is going to thrive and risk the public health. But I'm going to throw this back on you, and I want you to think about this. Let's think about this for a second. Last year, we all remember what happened. I'm going to outline and disagree exactly as to why I suggest that it's actually NPHET that are potentially causing a major concern and a possible risk for COVID rise. Most hotels are not equipped to cater for full occupancy for any meal. We all know what it's like trying to get a table for breakfast on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Now multiply that by 10 for breakfast, lunch and dinner all day, every day. By the way, there's over 100 years experience of the three of us that are here in this room in running hotels, bars and restaurants. So we know what we're talking about. If the government look for medical advice, they go to the medical experts. If they look for economic advice, they go to those. But they didn't come and ask any of us as to could we see any potential downfalls in their plan for allowing hotels to open first on the 2nd of June. Last year, we all witnessed bars being packed both inside and outside, but the bar right beside it was empty because they didn't serve the food. They didn't have that €9 meal. It doesn't take a genius. To dilute the crowd is clearly a more sensible thing to do, and have it in a controlled environment. Most guest houses, B&Bs, have no dining facilities at all for lunch or dinner. So the government's current reopening plan is going to result in a major crowd and major demands, yet nowhere for them to eat or drink. And I know they're going to throw out the outdoor dining scenario. Outdoor dining is not going to happen. This is Ireland. We all know that, not the Algarve. They will either cancel their planned holidays, or they're just going to eat and drink in an uncontrolled environment. So again, it makes perfect sense that restaurants and bars and cafes and sandwich places, shops are allowed open and serve indoors. In recent days, we have seen a respected epidemiologist, immunologist and physician in Harvard Public Health Medical School, and we also this call out the chair of NPHET. What the media didn't say is they didn't quote the important lines of his tweet. He said as simple as this. He said, if he doesn't know what he is talking about, and he should be ashamed of his demeanour. Now, they told us that one or two things that he said mightn't have been accurate, but that's what this respected man said about the chair of NPHET. And if he's going to question NPHET's advice, well then our politicians need to question it too. I'm not one for a single second, and I can't stress this enough, I'm not for a single second saying open up every bar, open up every restaurant, open up every coffee shop and every sandwich shop 100% capacity for the month of June. I'm not saying that by any means. We can open at a 50 to 60% capacity. It means we maintain our staff. We don't lose them as to like what I've just after saying. The government, I'm not asking them, they have to trust what we're doing. They have to believe we're responsible individuals. And it's up to the publican, the restaurateur, to make sure we do it right. And also it's up to the person who's walking in to make sure that they're doing it right too. If it's full, just get out and go. We can't say that enough. We are talking about doing this safely. The balance of the tipping scale of the virus is well within the favour, that the risk is now quite low. They have to accept that. Of course it's still possible of COVID. And what we're saying is if you're genuinely worried, then yes, stay at home for the next 4 weeks. But the tipping scale for restaurants, bars, coffee shops, sandwich bars not opening at the start of June is 100% going to result in mass closures come this winter. We cannot allow this to happen. And I even put down, I'm not even going to mention the weather with regards to the crazy insane narrative of outdoor dining. I think we're all well aware of that. As outlined in all the above, I'm urging you to vote against the proposed extension of this act. So basically, if this is voted against, it stops, we all open. We all open if this is not renewed. And I know there's one or two parts in that act that the politicians who are watching right now are saying we need to have that in. So I'm suggesting that you let us all open come the 2nd of June in the first place. Anything other than a vote no is going to result in an absolute disaster for an already decimated sector. We can no longer be ignored, and we will no longer be tolerated as a non-essential citizen. I want anybody that's been sitting at home, that's been going to work, that's worked from home, that over 500,000 people have been told by the Taoiseach of this country that our livelihoods are not essential. Imagine what that is like Imagine what that is like to hear for the last 14 months that our livelihoods are not essential. That is what they're saying to us right now. That's the letter. It's all been put up. We're going to put up the links to it as well. I've spoken enough. I wanted to read it out because that is the crux of what we're trying to say. We are trying to unite all of hospitality under the one roof. Hotels, bars, restaurants, cafes, coffee shops, but hospitality extends to far more than that. Because the painter and decorator that we all get in at the end of the season or at the start of the season is not going to get a job at the end of this season if this doesn't happen. It goes further than that again, and the media need to pay attention to this as well, because they know their advertising revenue is absolutely decimated and destroyed at the moment. Newspapers, radio stations are on their knees, and the only thing that's keeping them afloat is the COVID budget that they're getting from the government for running all the ads, because we're not advertising at all, because we're not open. Come 2-3 months time, that COVID budget is gone. If we are gone, then the media are not going to be getting their advertising revenue as well. So tourism is a pillar of society that if we pull that out, all of society collapses, because so much, your son, your daughter is employed part-time, full-time. It extends to such a big reach. It is crucial that we all download this letter, that we all send it to every single TD in your jurisdiction, in your constituency. For you, your family, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, everybody. When they get inundated with this letter, trust me, they will start listening. I've said enough for 2 minutes. I'm going to take a break, let Botti talk in there as well. Please, I can't stress enough, guys, go on Twitter, say something, hashtag the plan, share this out. There's more to it. Please stick with us until the very end, and we tell you exactly where we're going.
I'm nearly wrecked myself after listening to that, Paul. I'm wrecked. It's very simple. I think over the last COVID, I for people who don't know me, I grew up in a family business here in Killarney. I'm the youngest of 6 boys. My mother's 85 in 2 months' time. She works 7 days a week. Even now, she's still at home scratching her head why she can't go out and make a living. We don't have a lot of money. People think, oh yeah, you want a hotel, you want a business, you want to... People live on a shoestring. We're getting government subsidies, yeah, we are. Yeah, but that's not paying the bills, that's not paying the banks, it's not paying the insurance, it's not paying everything. So it's giving a percentage towards it. So we're actually going through our savings, and everybody's going through their savings in the industry. But what I found, and again, I'm a politician also, I'm an independent county councillor here in Kerry, and what I found as a politician, I'll go on the radio and I'm ranting and raving, and I found that there's so much disunity in the hospitality sector, as you said, buses, coaches, Jarvis here in the town of Killarney, they all need to make a living. And we're not, and this is very important for people to understand, we're not looking for anybody to break COVID restrictions. We totally understand right now where we are. We do understand the fact that there's a vaccine compared to last summer, which is a huge advantage as well. But we also realise, I'm worried for my business and my mother's business and everybody else's business that next March, how am I going to get to next March? I will not get to next March with what's there right now. I have a family hotel, yeah, we can open on the 2nd of June. We've only 14, 15 rooms. There's nobody going to be staying with me on the 2nd of June or the 3rd of June or the 4th of June. They might come the bank holiday weekend. But if I don't take on my 14 full-time staff, they're going to be gone. And when I need them in July, they're gone somewhere else. And they're all the small things, but the pressure, it is serious pressure. And I don't think anybody has tried to unite, and this is very important. We're not knocking the hotel sector or any other sector, but I think it's important that the politicians, of which I am one, so I know I have not been lobbied. I have not received oceans upon oceans of phone calls, but the TDs in the government parties, the Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Greens, they need to get this letter. They need to understand where we're at. And where we're at is we're dying on our feet. And people will say, oh sure, it's only another couple of weeks. Those weeks are huge to us, because in the terms of a summer season, that's where we make the money to survive the winter. And you know, you're going to get them, Paul. I said it to you already. Yeah. You're going to get people who are watching here tonight now, and they're looking for something to criticise. And yeah, we're going to bang them. No, very simple. We just need the message to get to every single TD in the country that you have to read this letter. You have to understand where we're coming from. And when you go to vote in a couple of weeks' time in relation to these changes, that you understand what you're voting for. Because at the moment, I don't think the hotel, restaurants, pubs, chauffeurs, jarvies, whoever's involved, suppliers, whoever's involved in our industry, the hospitality industry, they've never come together and lobbied properly in the last 14, 16 months. We understand COVID, and I really do understand COVID, because people have died from COVID. We understand everything. And people say, do you know, I love this one. I love this one, Paul, when they say, oh, you were given a chance at Christmas. We weren't given a chance at Christmas. We weren't, because I didn't drive my mother's hotel over to England and bring back the UK variant. It didn't happen like that. Because if you look at all of last summer, from the town of Killarney, where I grew up, and Paul is trading as well, we've had no breakouts. We've been the safest town. We offer great value for money, like every other place in the country does, but you always get the, oh, I got a quote of 20,000. No, stop. You get value for money in the hospitality sector in this country. We offer a safe environment for everybody to enjoy. You can go to Donegal, you can go to Dublin, you can go to Cork. You get value for money. This idea that you can get on a plane and fly out and it's cheaper in Spain. You can think that way if you want, I understand. But we need the government to understand. We need to get to next March where we can press the restart button and try and get on with our lives after 2 horrendous years. And if you're serious about your business, and if you're serious about really wanting to help others, because it's easy for me, Paul, I'll tell you, I'm opening 2nd of June, I don't have to be here, but I want to be here because I think we all need to open together. 100%. And to open together, it means you need to get that letter, you need to get all your staff to sign it, and you need to get it to your TDs. And those TDs need to understand, oh, geez, there's 20 people here, and there's another 20 people here, and there's another... Every one of those TDs, trust me, because I come from a political background, I think, oh, these are votes in my constituency. Now, you'll also be able to put that up in your window, download it, put it up, say you support the plan, and we'll try and get this over the hill in a positive way. It's easy for people to tune in tonight now and want to knock it, and oh, we're going to fight the world. We're going to try and get the government to understand that the hospitality sector needs to open together in a safe manner, which we as professionals can do. Because at the moment, house parties, she-beans, they're all happening. There's no safety there. There's safety in the environment of a restaurant, a pub, a hotel. And that's not being controversial, that's just being factual. So I'm asking the people that I know on this, would you please get this signed by all your staff, or get it signed by your family, and get it to your local TD. And if you can at all, hand it to them and say, my livelihood's on the line here, my man. Please help us.
And they will also know that we will say who voted in favour and who didn't vote in favour. And I don't think there's a politician in the country who wants to walk down their constituency in one of their streets and turn around and go, oh geez, that's the restaurateur that's actually gone bust because I voted against it. There's a lot of people, some in the media, some in the political will, some in associations, that were waiting to cut us in half here. A lot of people were thinking that we were going to, say, break the law. A lot of people were thinking that we were going to advocate and say, let's have civil disobedience. And there's a lot of people waiting because they could throw it back into our face and say, you can't break the law and you can't. That's why this is all part of the plan. The reality is that the amount of people that I can see watching wouldn't be here watching if I said, here's the plan, we're going to write a letter. Because you are not going to beat the government by breaking the law. You are not going to win the support of the Irish people by advocating civil disobedience. You're just not. But you will win the support of people if you show them that by doing something as simple as this letter and sending it to every single TD, for your staff, like I said, we can't stress it enough, every single bar, restaurant, coffee shop, aviation, every single, even gyms that know that they've been hard done by too, every single industry that has been shut down, print off this letter, Get all your staff to fill it out for every single TD in your area and send it to them so that they see just how serious we are. If this doesn't happen, it doesn't work. It's as simple as that. If we don't tweet, and I'd ask everybody, set an alarm on your phone, 10 to 1, 10 to 6, 10 to 9. Tweet every single day, we're still supporting the plan. Hashtag the plan, anything the plan, so that every day it's coming up on Twitter, so that they're going, Jesus, these guys are not going away. They're actually serious about it. We cannot stress this enough. It's very, very simple. As I said, they were waiting to cut us down. They were waiting to shut us up. They're waiting. That's why we did no leaks. That's why we did no interviews beforehand, because we were not going to let our message be manipulated or put out in a way that you might automatically be put against us. We wanted it to be so strong. We're going to let Neffet, we're going to let the government, and we're going to let certain people inside the media think they all have the power, and they can argue amongst themselves, while we show them who actually has the power. And that is you and me and everybody sitting at home. We vote our TDs into Leinster House to act on our best behalf. And we're going to make sure that they know that this is our best behalf. I cannot stress it enough. Those 4 weeks of holding out from businesses being allowed to open is the difference of us going bust with a risk that is a lot more minimal than where it was, thanks to the amazing job of the HSE that are banging out so many vaccines a week. It's common sense is what we're trying to approach here. I can't stress it enough. Please fill out that letter. I know some people are going to be upset and go, oh, for God's sake, I brought my shield and sword and everything with me ready for a battle. Sometimes the most effective ways to succeed are the most simple ways. And we're not going to get the support. It's no point me opening up on the 2nd of June and being arrested and said, well, your man was great, and get nowhere. We have to ask ourselves, what does victory look like? And victory is very, very simple. That everybody in hospitality opens at the exact same time, indoors. As I said, we'll do it for 50 to 60% of our capacity for the month of June. It means we keep our staff, we keep our businesses. We haven't worked in 9 months. Some haven't worked in 14. We need to get back into the swing of things. If we wait till July, the reality of it is that it's mid-July before we're back into the action. Some of us don't even realise our fridges don't work, our ovens don't work. We haven't been there in so long, which means we have 4 to 6 weeks of a season. And as Niall's already said, that's just not going to get us through to next year. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to plead with you, I'm going to say I can't stress how enough, and I'm going to ask the media to come on our side. And I've spoken to a lot of politicians, and I'm telling you now, there are a lot of politicians that are on our side, and now they're going to come out publicly because they didn't know that we were not going to say, we're not going to break the law. We're not going to call for civil disobedience. We're going to call for plain old-fashioned people power. We're going to get such a movement on our side to put so much pressure on the government. We know where we're going with this. There are 3 types of people in this world, as a wise man said to me. There are some that are afraid to take on authority. There are some that feel that the safety in a flock moving in one direction is the best way to go. And if any kind of stress or pressure comes on their door, that they will have no idea what to do with it. And they are the sheep. And then there are the people who will turn around and they'll prey on the weak. And they'll go after them and they'll make sure that the sheep do everything that they want to do. And they're the wolves. And then there are people who are given the God-given gift of aggression and wake up every single day and they want to protect as many people as they can, and they want to go and attack the wolf, and they're the sheepdog. And we're asking for every single person to be a sheepdog. We are on our knees. We are in that flock. We are under serious pressure. And the hotelier might think he's in the middle of that flock and is not going to get slaughtered this week, but trust me, you will be slaughtered come the winter, when the bars and the restaurants and the shops and so many jobs are gone. We need everybody to stand together, and we need every single person to be the sheepdog. We need your help. Download that letter for every single TD in your area. Download the sign here. Put that on your window. Say that you support this plan, that you're tweeting every single thing about it. And again, apologies to those, and they're going to love, he didn't say break the law. He didn't say let's call for civil disobedience, because they have no reason to argue with us now. We have absolutely, categorically, we are appealing to the people of the country to stand with us, to trust us the way we know we can operate our business, the way we did it last year, the way we did it before there was ever anything to do with COVID. And we're asking you guys to come on board and support the plan. Thank you very much for tonight. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. It's just unity. That's all we need, unity. And people have to really understand, it hasn't happened in the hospitality sector when you pull everybody. We're just asking you to get that letter, sign it, get it to your TD. And you might think, oh, we should be standing outside and we should be locking our doors and opening our doors or whatever. No, let's do it. We're entitled to lobby our politicians. We're doing it in a perfectly respectful manner. We're getting a letter signed. I'm putting that up in my mother's hotel tomorrow on the door, and I hope everybody else does as well. And you know what? If everybody does it and everybody takes note, we might be heard, because I don't think we're being heard.
We'll
Thank
definitely
you.
be heard.
Thanks to everybody.
And the last thing is, I have about 100 of these printed off in the restaurant. I would urge every single business as well, print it off, make it so easy for people when they walk in and they say they support the plan. Here, sign this. I have, look at this. You all think I'm mad.
We actually do think you're mad.
Well,
like,
do you know what?
Just to let you know.
That's okay. I'm okay with being mad. There's a fine line apparently between being mad and being a genius. So at least I know I got very close to being smart.
I never thought I'd be on a program with you and
There you
there's no
are.
food involved. And you mentioned gyms earlier on. The need to go there.
Once we get back to work, we'll be losing weight. I have 35 letters going out to TDs now. That's just from the staff that were working with us in the restaurant today, and myself and Mark. There's 35 letters going out. I have another 150 inside in my car that I'm bringing back to my family and friends back home. That's 200 letters that are going out for me. Just imagine if 10 more businesses did this, if 100 more businesses did this, and if 1,000 businesses, and that's not that hard to do, and everybody sitting at home did the same. Because here's the thing, and I'm going to leave it on this. Here's the thing. With everybody coming on board and everybody filling the letters, make it so easy. We are going to change everything. It's not a question of will they listen, they will have to listen. Thank you so much, guys. Tweet.
Stay safe.
10 to 1, 10 to 6, 10 to 9, hashtag the plan. Let's get it out there and let's get some action. Thank you so much, John, behind the scenes, the cam man who's done all the amazing technology for us. Niall, it's not easy to stand beside me because a lot of people think I am.
You are.
I am
you
causing
are.
trouble.
You are. Like.
But we're doing what we're supposed to do, and we're standing up for our livelihoods. Thank you so much, guys. Please support the plan.